Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to. Wait, we didn't decide a name, did we? Is it just Weekly Roundup?
Yeah.
Do Weekly Roundup, unless you guys hate that name. So this
There's
is.
nothing wrong with the name.
If you guys missed it, our announcement. This is going to be replacing the news. Could be temporarily, could be permanently. Depends on if you guys like this or not. So it's basically us going over the news, but Oscar's here, so we'll have more of a dynamic going on, and it'll be. Huh?
And they bounce between each other.
Yeah, we bounce between each other, so you get more than just my opinion on stuff, and be more a little bit laid back and stuff like that. So we'll see how this goes. You guys can let us know, and yeah, so we'll jump right into it. If we have any things that I'm forgetting, we'll put it at the end. And if there's any news items we missed that you guys think we should discuss for next week, be sure to comment them below as well.
Well, for starters, I know you've missed a few weeks, I think, or a week or so, and so there was Worlds that ended. I mean, we talked about it in the podcast, but I guess that is an event that took place, and Ryan Miles won for first place. I think Spain took second, which is pretty cool. Ooh. And obviously the little whatever mishap happened with Zappini, and then Worlds looked like it was pretty fun, and they announced that they would do another one, obviously, but it was in the air. Nobody really knew.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that announcement, and if you guys want details both on what top 8 were and what that sort of controversy was, I had a video I did. You can just go through the recent videos on our channel and you'll come across it. But yeah, so that was pretty interesting. We got our look at the Ruler League promos. So there's 2 different ones we got to look at, and so the first was as a sequence of events. So we have Matako Major as the promo card for Ghost in the Shell that comes with the Star Decks. And we found out that it's not foil for some reason. And at Worlds, when people bought calendars, I believe, it also came with a foil version of that card. So we're like, okay, interesting. So there's a foil of that that's at Worlds, exclusive there, I assume, that people are indirectly buying. And then it was revealed that, no, the promo of that is just going to be a monthly promo. And I think they just had a bunch of extras they're trying to, put out at Worlds and stuff like that. So the one that's in the Star Decks is normal, and then the hollow foil version of that will be one of the Ruler League promos. The second one, what is the second one of again? The name of the card?
The second, there's one that was the light card that that works with Lars, right?
I believe so. Wrong? Yeah, it's the one with the dude with the sword, and I remember that just because so it looks like it's the same. They're doing what they did with the ruler, so it's the same art as what's in the set, except his mouth is slightly open. I believe is the only real difference.
The background, I think, has more to it. That kind of makes it a darker background. Light of Sacred Spirit is a card. But yeah, it adds a little more dynamic to it. But it's kind of like the way we've seen already with the rulers, where the front side is one way and the second side is slightly altered. So it's a slightly altered version.
So what I was telling Oscar was that that's like super disappointing, because before, when they first did this with Odin, I was like, this is super dumb. But at minimum, at least in the set, you got the textured version, and then you got the promo version that's clearly not as nice. This one, they got rid of it. We'll go over it in a sec, but they don't have texture in the set now, so it's literally identical to in the set, just slightly different art. So the people who are playing it, you actually have to like look at the card or squint to see that it's different than what's inside of the set, which I think is disappointing for people who open the boxes and pull the full art and stuff like that, because it's not as special, because it looks identical to the promo everyone has, and it makes the promo less exciting because it's identical to what's in the set. It's not like an exciting new thing. You're like, oh, I got to go to the store to get that different art of that thing. It's like and same with Matako already being in the Star Decks. I feel like that drive of like, oh, like when the Stones came out as monthly promos, you were like, you Oscar were like, oh man, we gotta make sure we go into our locals and play a game so we can get some of those stones. And I, even though I love Ghost in the Shell, like I don't feel that drive to go to the locals, because I have the playset of the non-foils, And if I really want the fulls, there probably won't be that much at a later point.
Yeah. There's some other cards I think we saw. I think Light of Rays and Revive was another promo that we may have seen. It's, again, a slight alteration. The only thing I'll stand behind on this one is that it's not too bad is that the fact that they're SRs. They're doing promo SRs is what they're doing.
Yeah. But I thought I saw someone say something about, I don't know if it was the rares or the full art rares. One of those is like more rare than the SR as far as pull rates. I could be misremembering.
I think that's always been the case, was that rare is more rare than all the others.
It wasn't with the last set, I don't think.
I don't know, but I'm saying it's always been the case with sets from Force of Will.
Okay. But that was before they upped the SRs to be the same number of R as rares, so I would assume that. But
I mean,
anyway.
it was through Rhea and Valhalla clusters. I can say that much.
Yeah.
Next up, I'm gonna let you do this one again because it's drafting. I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, real quick. So I just touched on this, but like I said, there's no more textures in the set. They got rid of that, which goes along the route that I was saying of their replicating the casters model, which makes sense. Sorry about my cat. Which makes sense because the guy who does casters, I believe, is in charge of Force of Will now. So that is why they're doing smaller sets, starter decks that come out with each set rather than all up front, and now the lack of texturing on the cards is all Caster Chronicles stuff. Luckily, they didn't cheapen the card stock like casters did. It seems like it's still high quality, but yeah. So drafting, this is what I was just mentioning. Based on our experience of pre-release, that drafting or limited format in general for this set and probably this entire cluster is not great because the way it's designed, you got your ruler with the starter deck. You have the ruler with the starter deck, and you got the third ruler kind of with its starter deck. In this form of the booster box is sort of got a randomized starter deck is basically the way to look at it. And because of that, when you go to pre-release and stuff like that, everyone's running the exact same deck. And so it makes that format a little bit not as fun. And the thing I had talked about on the podcast with Joey is the lack of drafting rulers is, I think, a big issue, especially with strangers. So you can have fan stuff and all that. But even with the fan themes, and with Oscar and I working at a print center, we still ended up not having them at our pre-release, and there's no way to get them. And so you're just sort of SOL at a certain point. So I was just touching on the fact that that drafting. A lot of this is older news. We're playing a little bit of catch up, but so these are notes from older news videos and stuff.
But yeah, I agree that the concentration of how they did the colors is what's making the draft experience slightly less.
It makes sense in the broader scheme of the cluster and just normal New Frontiers, but it completely, I think, destroys limited format.
I mean, luckily on our end, we only ever did it when we did pre-releases, and it was like we ever really drafted.
We did a couple times before, which I actually had a lot of fun drafting with runes. I mean, it could be because of the way the set's laid out, but I don't think it's as fun with strangers, so yeah, I don't care as much anymore. The rune deck was probably the most fun I've ever had, like in a limited format in a game. So now that that's gone, I don't care too much about limited format.
Yeah. Cool part is moving on is that the CR was finally updated. It's actually updated pretty quickly. Like it wasn't that long 3-month turnaround or 2-month turnaround, whatever it was that we ended up on the last one. But there was some confusion within the CR as it was written for in English, I would say. The one thing is how strangers worked, I believe, is more clarified in the German version. So they were able to give out that the German players, I know Chris in particular from Chris, was it Chris Force Will Weekly, who had said if they go anywhere except the main deck, they just go there. Like the main deck, it bounces it back to the stranger deck. He clarified some other things on how interactions work. Like apparently your stranger deck is open information while playing the game, so you can constantly check it if you need to. And then when you're going to go pick something out, the recommended way to do it is just to say shuffle it and have your opponent pick it, or some randomization method.
I hate that ruling specifically. Like, it's not too big a deal, but like it was the most simple thing of just shuffle your stranger deck the same way you do your stone and main deck, goes there, and then you just draw the top card of it whenever you have to draw a stranger. It seems super cut and dry, and by making it so like, for some random reason you can look at your deck anytime, I think it adds complications. It adds potential for sly people to cheat, maybe at Worlds, and different things like that. So I feel like that's such an unnecessary ruling for that. That just complicates what should have been a straightforward thing.
Yeah, so I think going to any type of official tournaments, like if we get GP season announced anytime soon, keep that in mind for how to treat your stranger deck. Otherwise, just gain agreement with who you're playing with. If it's anything else like locals or playing with a friend, obviously.
Yeah, and with that CR update, also came some side things that Force Will posted directly on their Facebook as well. One of which was clarifying that Motoko is. Legal inside of New Frontiers, even though it's not printed inside of the set, which we all assumed was going to be the case, but legally in the CR technically isn't allowed to be played, so Forcible came out and specifically said it is allowed to be played. Yeah. I think they came out with another ruling as well, but I forget.
It was a situation we've seen in the past, like with Arwen, who was printed as a promo but not in the set, but was still legal. This is actually the company coming forward and saying, oh, it is legal. Because we didn't get that with Arwen. Arwen and everybody just...
We still don't know officially about Arwen. Yeah, they still haven't said anything.
Yeah. I imagine it's treated the same way, but no announcement was made. And
I'm assuming that...
I know...
Good.
Well, it wasn't as related. It was like, I know that in the past we had Time Spinning Witch was a promo, but she actually ended up having an inset code printed on her. She was a buy box ruler, so you had to get it outside the box.
Well, I assume with that update with the promo and CR and stuff like that it's a third party. I think one of the distributors or whatever is helping do some of that, and that's the reason we got this update on that promo, but not Arwen, because at the time they weren't working with anyone for that, so that's probably why we're getting more consistent updates regarding this stuff. Next up.
Yeah. Next up, we have new starters in the booster box shown for Alice Origins 2. This helped clarify things for people wondering what colors are being inside the set itself. From the looks of it, it looks like Machina is going to be a green-blue. It looks like Valentina is a blue-black, and Priscia, I should say, is a green-red, which I think for the most part was a safe assumption for most people. Maybe some people didn't guess Valentina. I wasn't really reading on that, but I know those are pretty much my predictions right there, just based on cards in the past.
Yeah. And machines will be super cool, and you have a theory that they'll be dual color, but it'll be
dual color and cost, but the void symbol for their actual attribute type, which was seen on the Machina from Vingolf 3. If you're looking, he was a blue-black card with the actual void attribute.
Yeah, which will be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we also got revealed Arla is going to be in the third set, Alice Origin 3. They're very creative with these names. They revealed art for Arla. So if you guys are Arla fans, that's exciting.
That's all you had. I know it was the actual.
I was waiting for you to respond. Yeah,
it was the actual first deck I think I ever got to play with, because I believe we bought the dual deck Safari Amelgus, but we never actually played with them. I picked up the Arla one, and then that was the actual first time we played a full game, and we're like, I think we did it. Was an Arla deck, and then I kind of moved on from there real quickly. And I know you ran Arla for a bit too in the beginning. It's like I think it was a great starter deck for a lot of people jumping in back then.
Yeah, I remember that back in the day.
Yeah, definitely fun. It'd be cool to see it come back. People's predictions on color is green, white right now. I thought white, black, because it made sense.
Moving on to Forcible adjacent news, Oscar.
Caster set. I don't really follow casters, so that's going to be...
It's just a new set was announced, and I don't know if the spoilers in English have officially started, but the spoilers had started in other ways, and Dylan Hunt, I believe, was translating some of them, if you're in the Caster Facebook group. I really dig the visuals aesthetic of this new set. It looks super cool. And
it was Cthulhu based, right? Or it's going to be increasing that Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Type.
Yeah. So I'm pretty interested to see where that goes. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Oscar?
We have alternate souls information. So I know that EG made a post just the other day, and I'm sure some people were wondering where the Kickstarter had been, because it was announced a couple weeks ago now, and it was supposed to come out the week after it was announced. We haven't seen it yet. I believe in his post he did say they're taking a step back, they're just reworking a couple things, and they're going to come out that Kickstarter soon.
Yeah, it sounds like good things, because he was working on some distribution stuff. and stuff. And so I think he hinted that it was like, it's not like, oh, they ran into a snag. It was more of like, oh, we could do this as well. So let's hold off on this, make this super cool. And at this point, it's probably best to wait till after Christmas, because now no one's going to have any money to spend on Kickstarter or anything like that. So you want to wait.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, probably I would look at it at the beginning to mid-January is when I would assume we can keep an eye out for it. And it probably will have a super cool video accompanying it, so we'll see.
Yeah, and it's his business, they need to obviously make sure it's polished and kind of drop it on everybody, because everybody is pretty excited for the most part, coming from Force of Will, to see what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I really enjoyed the gameplay and all that, so we'll definitely be back in the Kickstarter and all that good stuff. Next up, we'll actually skip that part. So, Manacrest, if you guys remember, we had actually done an interview with one of the head guys or guys part of the team of Manacrest. If you hadn't seen it, I recommend going and check it out. It was a very interesting interview, even if you're not interested in the game. Just hearing about like what goes into the creation of a game and stuff like that, a card game. But their Kickstarter had officially launched, so I highly recommend going and checking that out. If I don't remember the link in the description, just go to Kickstarter and search Manacrest, Manacrest, all one word, and it'll pop up. It looks super cool. It's a card game that's going to be physical and digital simultaneously upon release. And if it gets fully funded, it'll have future support for Android and iPhones and stuff like that all off the bat. It looks really cool. I love the card design, because the card design really is all about the art in the background, which I love.
I thought it was cool too, especially on the Kickstarter. If you guys go check it out, there's a lot of tiers where it's like, here's some physical cards, or here's some digital cards, and there's even some that combine the two, but here's digital and physical cards.
Yeah.
The tiers even go as high as to helping secure like a single card of every card from the set, or even I think increasing to play sets worth, if I remember correctly. It's cool. We'll see it. I know they have a Discord, and I know that on our Discord recently, there's been somebody who's been active, actually enjoying talking about it. Right now, it's just in the main public kind of group of our Discord. You guys want to check it out? Just description, link in the description down below, and join that conversation. And maybe if it's enough, we can always make its own little section. But,
yeah, I'm hoping it gets funded, because I definitely want to cover it on the channel if it when it releases and stuff like that. Because I genuinely think it has a lot of potential, and the people working on it seem like they really know like how to make it like very what's the word, mass appeal for people in the card game community, like I said, with the digital and physical and the art, but also like they'll be supporting all alternative formats. I think they list 5 or so off the bat, and including up to multiplayer with like 4 people and stuff like that, which is a big deal for me, because it's me, my wife, and Oscar hang out a lot, so we like 3-player games. Or if we play online, having Joey in for a 4-player game, since it'll be digital, I think that would be great.
Yeah. Last little bit on that is, if you want to see gameplay, they actually have gameplay up on our Kickstarter. Just scroll through that and you'll find it, a video there. Pretty cool to check out. Also, speaking of like playing games with Joey, we actually got some games recorded, so we're going to have that coming out. If you hadn't seen our reschedule for our week on content release, I believe Tuesday was a day for gameplay, so you'll see that come out this Tuesday, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, so I highly recommend going and checking out that new release schedule, because we'll be doing more videos and more consistently on an actual schedule, both here and on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGScrubs. We'll be releasing a lot of exclusive video content, and we restructured the tiers a little bit. Golly, sorry, but I have a new cat, and it does not like being locked in here. So it's a lot of cool stuff. I'm excited. Like this weekly roundup, over break during Christmas, I'll work on it visually so it's more cool. But for now, we're going to just get the news to you guys and stuff like that. But, if you guys have any feedback or thoughts or anything, be sure to let us know below. Or anywhere else on Discord, Facebook, etc. We respond to all the different avenues. And we'll be, like I said, doing gameplay, and we're also going to be streaming things. Like tonight, we'll be streaming the podcast live before it releases on Saturday on our Twitch, and possibly YouTube. And then we'll also be streaming video games on our Scrubs Games Twitch channel as well. So a lot of stuff that's exciting. I hope going forward here.
Should be cool.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in this week.
And we'll see you next week.
Woo.